The engine's roar was a familiar sound. Every year, the air show brought the same thunder to the city. I looked up, expecting the usual display of aeronautical prowess. This year, it was different. Instead of the sleek lines of an aerobatic plane, a massive military transport lumbered across the sky. It cast an unsettling shadow over the morning commute. Unease prickled at the edges of my thoughts, but I pushed it aside. Just the military getting in on the act, I told myself. The traffic inched forward, horns blaring in a symphony of urban frustration. I glanced at my watch, already running late. The roar of the transport plane faded into the background noise of the city. Then, a different sound cut through the air, a high-pitched whine, growing rapidly louder. My gaze snapped back to the sky. 2 fighter jets, sleek and menacing, screamed past, barely above rooftop level. A wave of adrenaline surged through me, my heart pounding in my chest. This was no airshow. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. The normalcy of the morning commute shattered into a million pieces. People stopped on the sidewalks, their faces a mixture of confusion and fear. The traffic, momentarily forgotten, snarled to a halt. I sat in my car, frozen, my mind struggling to process what was happening. This couldn't be real. This was the city, for God's sake, not some war zone on the other side of the world. Then, the first explosion ripped through the air. A plume of black smoke billowed into the sky, followed by another explosion, and then another. The ground vibrated beneath my car, the air thick with the smell of burning metal and something acrid I couldn't place. Panic seized the crowd. People were running, screaming, their faces contorted in terror. I fumbled with my phone, my fingers clumsy with fear. I had to call someone, anyone, tell them what was happening. Looking up, I saw them. Tiny black specks against the blue sky, growing larger by the second. Parachutes, billowing open like grotesque flowers. They descended slowly, gracefully almost, in stark contrast to the chaos unfolding below. My breath hitched in my throat. Those weren't airshow performers, they were soldiers, armed and ready for war. This was an invasion. The city was descending into chaos. Cars collided, abandoned in the middle of the road. Buildings burned, flames licking at the sky. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of fear, and yet, a strange calm settled over me. A sense of surreal detachment, as if I were watching a movie, a nightmare unfolding on the screen. But this was no movie. This was real, and I was right in the middle of it. A strange silence descended, broken only by the crackle of flames and distant screams. The fighting seemed to have moved on, leaving behind a trail of destruction. I stepped out of my car, my legs shaky beneath me. The street was littered with debris, shattered glass, twisted metal, and the remnants of what had once been a normal day. A lone figure ran past, their face pale with terror. My phone buzzed in my pocket, startling me. It was an emergency alert, a message flashing across the screen. Military exercise in progress. Please remain calm and stay indoors. Military exercise? Was that what they were calling it? A chill ran down my spine. They could fool the news channels, maybe even the government, but they couldn't fool me. This was no exercise, this was war, and I was alone.